Ready? All right. Just start off by introducing yourself and your title.
Dennis Stoddard, past state deputy from the great state of Florida, and currently the Supreme Master for the 4th degree of the Knights of Columbus.
Okay, and as the Supreme Council's representative, how does the Florida jurisdiction stack up with the order as a whole?
Well, now, that's a loaded question because I'm very prejudiced, because I'm from Florida. And we all know, or at least I believe we all know, that Florida is in the top 3 in the order. We have Florida, Texas, California. And the Supreme Council, particularly the Supreme Knight, relies heavily on the Florida jurisdiction. We provide a great percentage of new members to the order, a great percentage of new insurance business to the order. And it's really one of the most beneficial jurisdictions within the order. So from my personal opinion, as I said, I'm a little prejudiced. I think Florida is number 1 myself. And I think we do a great job. We have wonderful volunteers. We have a very large base to work from, but there's so many more out there for us.
How's Florida doing as far as charitable programs are concerned? We heard earlier about the ultrasound program. What other things are Florida leading in?
Well, you did hear about the ultrasound program, and that's a good lead-in on that because Florida received the very first ultrasound machine. And it came to the Women's Health Clinic in Jacksonville, and I had the honor of being there when we made that presentation that day. And since then, I believe we've got well over 90 within the jurisdiction, and we're hitting 1,000 within the order. And that is just one of the many programs. But Florida is a leader in a lot of our programs. If you may recall, we've used Florida as a, what's the word I'm looking for, like a pilot program for several jurisdictions, for other jurisdictions to see how we do it. Our membership dues, for one. We pay our dues in July, so that if you have to have some issues with memberships and people not paying their dues, you don't lose them in February, March, and April after you've earned so many members throughout the year. Now you're going to lose them because people are being suspended for failure to pay dues. So we pay our dues in July, and it gives us a full 9 months to retain those members, and it helps our membership program. And that's caught on. That was a pilot program here in Florida.
Another pilot program is the online membership, for example.
Online membership was the first for Florida, yes. And we're doing, I think we have about 96 or so right now, maybe even 100 by now in the jurisdiction. And that program is growing. So Florida is expected to do a lot more for us. We expect a lot out of Florida.
Does the Knights of Columbus moving up to the patriotic degree, the numbers of Knights moving up to the 4th degree, is that meeting expectations, or?
Yes, it is. Our growth in the 4th degree is really moving along great. The only issue we have, just like we have in the 3rd, is our mortality. We're only here for a great number of days before the good Lord calls us home. So being the smaller portion of the order, 360,000 members in the 4th degree, when a 4th degree member dies, not only does the 3rd section lose a great member, but we lose a great member as well. So the death ratio within the order is anywhere from 6,000 to 9,000 members a year. And a good percentage of those members are 4th degree members. So I lose around 7,000 or 8,000 4th degree members a year just through natural death process. But our retention and our growth is still coming along well. We bring in probably over that 8,000 loss, we may bring in another 4,000 above that. So it washes.
What do you say to the 3rd degree Knight who says, I'd like to go for the 4th degree, but I don't want to get the Regalia?
Well, Regalia has never been a requirement in a 4th degree. I'm going to be honest with you here. I never wore Regalia till I became Supreme Master. I was never fond of the chapeau and cape. I just could not picture myself in it. I was a faithful navigator. I've been involved in the 4th degree ever since I've been a member, yet I never wore Regalia. When I became Supreme Master, it was expected of me, and I had to wear it. And it gave me a headache all the time.
Okay, great. Are there any new initiatives ahead for the 4th degree?
Well, our big 4th degree programs naturally are the Get Out the Vote program, because it's extremely important in our country at this time. With our military chaplain support program, our military is in desperate need of having chaplains, active duty chaplains on hand. We have so many diverse programs going, and there's a lot of controversy going on about the uniform right at this time. But that uniform is attracting a newer and younger member, and even quite a bit of our older members have come on board. And once they put it on, or once they and their wives actually see the uniform up close and firsthand, they're beginning to really like it. And we're getting more and more. I know we've sold over 10,000 uniforms to date, and we now have a new stock in supply, so people don't have any waiting time anymore. Now they can place their order, and we're able to get their order to them in a few days. And while we're speaking of the uniform, let me just address this issue. We are meeting next week up in New Haven with a local manufacturer from Alabama, who we believe is going to start producing the uniforms for us. Now we have two people bidding for it. So there's one in Alabama and one in, I think it's Mississippi. And they're bidding against each other to try to get our business. So we can get it made domestically. Same uniform, same fabric, just being made domestically, which would be a great enhancement to the program and it'd be a big help to the members.
You mentioned the military chaplains program. Can you talk a little bit about that and the reasons for it?
Sure. There is a total of 800 billets for Catholic chaplains in our military worldwide. 800. To date, we have 210 priests, active duty priests. Attrition, death, chaplains leaving. It's terrible. We can't get enough Catholic priests in there. So we partnered with the American Military Archdiocese in Washington to do Knights of Columbus will pay half the tuition of any seminarian that will sign up to be a military chaplain. And the Military Archdiocese will pay the second half. So this program has been phenomenal. We've raised $1.9 million to date of our $2 million quota. We have until next year to raise the $2 million. And we have sent like 46 candidates to the seminary. We've had about 8 or 10 already graduate and become ordained. We had 5 transitional deacons that'll be ordained next year. And all of these men are going into active duty in the military. And then they'll fulfill 2 things. They'll become military chaplains and they'll still be diocesan priests. So the diocese that they're coming out of wins. It's a win-win situation. Yeah.
You are a good